Are your people working hard but not reaching their full potential? The problem is not effort, it is development. At the Modern Observer Group, we transform workforce development into real performance. Our human-centered achievement programs help your team think better, communicate stronger, and execute at a higher level. That means higher employee engagement, stronger leadership, and measurable results across your organization. If you want a workforce that performs, leads, and delivers, it is time to invest in your people. Visit modernobserver.com and discover how the Modern Observer Group helps you build a workforce that wins.
The redistricting war continues. Consumer confidence drops slightly. The stock market continues to rise, and more. Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin, and here's the news you need to know. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps said it has a right to a reciprocal response after the U.S. conducted what it said were defensive strikes on Iranian sites and boats yesterday. Iran's warning comes as the two countries reportedly work towards a peace deal, though disputes over language are holding things up. Meanwhile, Iran reportedly restored some internet access following a months-long blackout that began after the U.S. and Israel attacked the country on February 28th. President Trump is expected to convene a cabinet meeting today amid the talks with Iran. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said yesterday that a peace deal with Iran may take a few more days, following his comments on Monday that the U.S. would deal with it another way if a satisfactory agreement isn't reached. Rubio added that President Trump is either going to make a good deal or no deal. Federal judges on Tuesday blocked Alabama's plan to use a congressional map that could give Republicans an advantage in a key U.S. House race in the midterm elections. A three-judge panel in the state's long-running redistricting case issued a preliminary injunction that prevents the state from switching maps, ruling that the Republican-backed plan intentionally discriminated based on race by including only one black majority district. The judges instead required Alabama to continue using a court-ordered map in place for the 2024 elections. Attorney General Steve Marshall said the state will immediately appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court. He contended the judges had no basis for their decision to block what he described as a blandly unobjectionable congressional map. A judge on Tuesday blocked an effort to temporarily halt the use of a new Republican-favored House map in Florida, delivering another blow to Democrats after another judge denied a separate bid to halt a new GOP-friendly map in Tennessee. Critics who sued over the new map argued that it violates the Florida Constitution, which bans lawmakers from redrawing maps for partisan gain or from undercutting minority voters from fair representation. They also argue that the map has become less compact, urging the court to block it from being used before the November elections. Florida Circuit Court Judge Joshua Hawks argued that the groups didn't sufficiently prove that the map was made with partisan intent and that it was too close to the election to introduce changes again to voters. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention sent an urgent request to its workforce to recruit personnel to help screen passengers coming from Central Africa for any potential signs of Ebola illness, according to an internal email to staff obtained by ABC News. The email was sent by acting CDC Director Dr. Jay Bhattacharya. An HHS official confirmed the authenticity of the letter to ABC News. Last week, the CDC temporarily barred entry of non-U.S. citizen travelers who had previously visited the Democratic Republic of Congo, Uganda, or South Sudan in the last 21 days. The U.S. Consumer Confidence Index edged down to 93.1 in May from 98.8 in April, which was revised up from 98.8 according to data released by the Conference Board on Tuesday. Compared with the 92.0 consensus, May's reading wasn't as weak as expected, as an increase in the expectations index helped to offset a decline in the present situation index. Still, the data reflected the intensifying inflationary impacts of the war in the Middle East. The S&P 500 and Nasdaq Composite rose to fresh intraday all-time highs on Tuesday, led by technology as traders weighed the prospects of a potential U.S. Iran deal being reached to end the war. The broad market index gained 0.61% and ended at 7,519.12, while the tech-heavy Nasdaq gained 1.19% to 26,656.18. Both indexes also closed at records. The Dow Jones Industrial Average lost 118.02 points, or 0.23%, ending at 50,461.63. U.S. stock markets were closed Monday due to the Memorial Day holiday. That's the Raw Naked Truth for May 27th, 2026. You can catch every episode of the Raw Naked Truth Daily News Brief, as well as our sister podcast, Carnivore Radio, with news analysis and commentary, and the rest of the Xvadio Podcast Network at xvadio.com, the Apple Podcast app, YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and other platforms that respect freedom of speech. We'll see you next time.